So I hope everyone had a chance to move a little bit, so you're awake. So thank you for coming to this session. And so I'm going to talk about 4 different presentation tools. And if you go to that shell, to that group shell that Meg mentioned about for our bootcamp, it's under presentation tools page in the module for today's bootcamp. And so let me find, I see it's a different. So it's right here if you go to presentation tools. And I'm going to be talking about 4 of them. Swipe, Haiku deck, Nearpod, and Prezi. But before we start talking about how cool those tools are, let's go back and think why we're talking about them. So we are talking about flipping classrooms, and some of you are teaching only face-to-face, some of you teach both face-to-face and online, others teach only online. So flipping goes both ways. For those who are teaching face-to-face, right, you want to bring in some distance component there. For those who are teaching only at a distance, they want to bring in some kind of face-to-face experience to their students. So, and when I was selecting those tools, I thought about exactly those types of experiences, that they can be used in both face-to-face classes or distance classes, or if you're doing hybrid, this is also a great tool to do. The other thing that I was considering when selecting those tools was that they work well with different platforms. What Casey mentioned, robust tools, this is very important. The only thing that you need, and those tools are all cloud-based. So as long as you have internet connection, you're going to be able to access those tools on any device. This is the great thing about them. And the last thing that is important, that most of those tools are free. So all of them have free versions. One of those tools we recommend, if you want to use it in your classroom, we would recommend you that you or your department or the outreach school will purchase the license for you, which is the Nearpod. This will be the 3rd tool that I'm talking about. So tell me how many of you have heard of Swipe? Cool. Haiku deck? Phineas, you don't count. Okay, you don't count. I'm not asking tech people. Haiku deck? 1 person, great. Nearpod? More, right? Because we've done some presentations, there was some word out. And Prezi, a lot of people, great. So, and I left Prezi for the end, since I thought that a lot of people will be familiar with that. It's not my favorite tool right away, I will tell you, but we need to talk about it too, because I think it has some potential as well. So let's start with less known tools. And I will talk about Haiku deck. And one more thing before I start presenting the tools, I just wanted you to look at this website that I put together some time ago, just as a comparison for different tools. Like, so when you're looking at the tools, when you decide whether the tool is going to work for you or not, you want to understand what the tool can do, right? So, and that's what I was trying to put them together for. So then you can find a couple other tools there that I'm not covering today. So let's start with Haiku deck. So Haiku deck is completely free, which is nice about that. And I treat it as an alternative to PowerPoint. For people who are tired of PowerPoint designs, Haiku deck is a really great tool because they have some nice themes, they have some nice designs. You can create a very nice alternative to PowerPoint. Other than that, it doesn't do much. So you can have it available online so students can access this presentation asynchronously. So you're not going to be presenting in a synchronous mode at the time when you are presenting. They are not going to be able to follow you in this tool. The presentation is going to be linear. So pretty much everything is linear here except for Prezi. Though you are familiar with Prezi, you know, this non-linear kind of panning, zooming kind of thing going on with Prezi. So this is the only tool that has non-linear presentation mode. Everything else is more linear, usually horizontal. One tool allows you vertical presentation, you know, like vertical kind of slides. You've probably seen some of them at some magazine, like electronic magazines have those kind of cool presentations sometimes. So Haiku deck storage is unlimited, which is nice. And then these are important things to look at when you are deciding about tools. What you can, how you can export the presentation, whether you can export it at all, and what you can import there. So those are the things for you to consider when we're choosing the tool. Export is also important, I think, for accessibility. Correct me if I'm wrong, Casey. Those are the most important things for the accessibility that you consider. So if you just want to design a presentation, you're not concerned with live broadcasting that we will be talking, that some tools allow you to do the live broadcasting, then you definitely want to have your presentation exported and then make sure that it's accessible, right? And the best accessible thing would be PowerPoint, not PDF, right? PDF?
I mean, a text-based PDF.
Text-based PDF, right. So just a little thing to think about the accessibility, because we need to think about it up front as we want to use a different tool, right, for presentation. So let's go to Haiku deck, and I will show you a little bit about that tool.
Is PPT the one that converts into a text file for Word?
PowerPoint. PPT is PowerPoint. It stands for PowerPoint.
All right. There's also, maybe it's RTF files, and you can actually then make outlines of your slides.
These do not allow you, none of these tools allow you to export into a document. So it's either PDF or PowerPoint, sometimes image or plain text. Oh, this is Google Slides. We're not talking about Google Slides, so forget about that. So let's go to Haiku deck. So all these tools require sign in. So you will have, if you decide to use them, you will need to create your own accounts. And I will log in to my tool and to my account. And some of them use a little bit different terminology. And you will see what I mean by that just in a second. I just need to pay attention when I am entering my password. So Haiku deck, that is not familiar to the majority of you, calls the presentations decks, and you will see this in other tools as well. So you will just go log in and you will create a new deck. And once you have a new deck, you will be able to start creating your slides. And you may have already slides in the PowerPoint, so you can you import them? Just a second. Let's go back to our little tool, and you can not import your slides from PowerPoint. So Haiku deck create slides from scratch. So what you can do, you can use your own images, or you can search images on the web very easily. So you can start with your title slide. You can also look at the themes right here and see how beautiful those themes are. So if you go through them, you can find various ideas for your presentation. If you want your presentation to look different than regular PowerPoint thing, I think that's a great way to start with. So, and then once you, like for example, I will choose this theme, and then I can add an image to my theme. And let's say I'm presenting on something and I want to have an image of grass. And so I just type in this search window, and then I have a lot of nice images coming out right there. I think the internet is slow, but I will take, usually you will have more images than that. And then you can use, you see, right away, you have a nice text background and you can type whatever you want, my presentation. And then you can continue working on your slides. You will add another slide if you wish. You see again the way how you want your slide to look, you know, the text. You can look at different layouts of the slides. You can also add another image, or you can just copy the previous slide and then it will already have the same layout. So it's pretty easy, handy. You can also insert, Haiku Deck allows you to insert a chart if you want the simple chart, nothing fancy, and select colors. And then you can also change layouts here and add notes that some people like about PowerPoint. So you can add notes right there. And then once your presentation is ready, also you can change your privacy setting here. Like by default, this is public, but you can change it to restricted or private, which is also nice. I like this feature that it's free. And then once you're done with your presentation, you can share it. And sharing can be done through, just a second, through the social media or through a link, or you can embed it. And if you want to embed it into your wire courses shell, then it's pretty easy. You just copy this code and you go to just your page, HTML view of your page, and just paste this, copy and paste this code, and then your presentation will be nicely embedded in your wire courses shell. So I think it's a nice little tool, and then you can also export this presentation if you want to do the live broadcast of your presentation, and we will go to the second tool that I'm talking about. I'm going to cover today is Swipe. So if you design your presentation in Nearpod and you want to present it to your students and you want to have some features, for example, such as polling right there integrated, then you can export this this presentation as either PDF or PowerPoint, and then go from there and do the live broadcast in a different tool. So any questions about Haiku Deck? You can take it as an alternative to PowerPoint, nice, that allows you very easy sharing. You or your students can design those PowerPoints using any web browser, preferably not Internet Explorer. And as long as they have internet connection. So this way you will not encounter such problems that we encountered today during the first two presentations. Remember when some software needed to be downloaded on the computers, like to read PDFs, you know, to make sure that to be able to create those presentations, you needed to have software downloaded on your hard drive. In this case, this is not a problem. So that's what I like about cloud-based software. It's very, as long as you have internet connection, you don't have issues like that. So let's go to Swipe now. So Swipe is also free. What I like about it, it's completely free. And it's also cloud-based and works on any device. And this software is not so much for designing presentations, although you can design them in Swipe, but it's rather for broadcasting. And so if I go back to this table that I compiled, so it again allows you to make your presentation public or private. It allows you live broadcasting, and it does not have a limitation on the number of people who can join the session, which is nice. And it does not allow any exporting, so that tells you that it's just for live broadcast. And it allows importing PDFs, images, or videos from Vimeo or YouTube. And so let's look at Swipe now. So I will log in again. So again, Swipe uses the same terminology. They call those presentations decks, just like Haiku deck did. And so, what you will do if you want to build your presentation in Swipe, you can do that, but you can see the limitations of it by looking at your options. For example, you will either have to drag and drop your PDFs or images here because those are the only types that are allowed, of the file types that are allowed, or you can add other content, which would be your Vimeo or YouTube videos. You can add a poll, or you can create a markdown slide, and they call markdown just a basic slide with text. So and I will show you how it works. So let me go back to my presentations because I don't want to create a new one. Just a second. So for example, I have this presentation about Germany here, and I will walk you through the slides that I already have. This is the markdown slide, you see? So the only thing that you can manipulate about the markdown slide is the background and the font. That's pretty much it. So you can put your text there. So this is very basic. That's why you want to do your designing outside this tool. But then you can embed some nice images there, whatever you want, and then you can do a poll, for example. And you can also have a video right there. So the other cool feature that I like about Swipe, that this feature allows you to do the vertical view. You see? Have you seen this? And I think this is pretty cool. You know, if you have a lot of images, you know, for your presentation, so you can do this vertical view for your students, and you can do the live broadcast. And then if you join my presentation by following, you know, this URL, you would be able to. I would be able to present, and I could have polled you as a class, you know. So there is some interactivity and involved, and I really like this tool because it's so simple. And so if you really want to have a little bit more interactivity in your classroom, I think this is the tool that will work on just any device, on smartphones, on tablets, on any laptop. So, and it's very easy to put together a presentation like that. Yes?
Did you say you could poll in that Haiku deck?
No, you cannot. Haiku deck does not have any interactive tools. So Haiku deck pretty much allows you just to design slides with images and text. You cannot have polls in Haiku deck. You cannot have videos in Haiku deck. You cannot have any kind of activities. So this is, I think, all about Swipe. Yes?
Where do the results of the polls go to?
The results will be saved. So I will show you, for example, one of the sessions that I had. I believe I did have one session saved. Let me go to my dashboard. Maybe this was Russian holidays. Let me see. If I go to view and present this one. There is some kind of option once you run. I think it's not saved. I erased this, but once you run a poll, you will be given an option to see the results, and then you can come back to those results. But I would not recommend using it for assessment for somebody, just more kind of formative assessment, just to see where the audience is on this particular issue, just, you know, like to have some kind of discussion, just to kind of figure out whether there is some understanding and misunderstanding of the concept, you know, kind of like just for you to adjust your presentation on the fly, kind of this kind of thing. But yes, and you will see the results there. Yeah, there will be an option. No, you cannot share the results in this tool. So that's when we will go to Nearpod, and Nearpod will have everything, and it will have even more. So I will do, so once we finish with Swipe, I will switch to Nearpod, and that tool will have both great presentation options as well as interactive tools that will make your presentation stand out, I think. Yes?
Do you broadcast unlimited artists and broadcast voice?
No, you cannot. You have to use something else for your voice broadcast. So, for example, what we do at UW Casper, since we have a lot of faculty who are teaching outreach classes, OVN classes, what we do, we use OVN for the voice broadcast, and then we put all the content on the cloud, so on one of these tools, Nearpod usually. So all the slides, all the interactivity happens on the internet, you know, on the devices that students bring into their classrooms, but the voice is transmitted through a different media. Yeah, and neither of those tools will allow you voice broadcast. So Google Hangouts maybe would be an option, depending on the size of the class, or web conferencing tools. I think web conferencing tools like Zoom and maybe even Big Blue Button, because Big Blue Button is not working very well with screen sharing, and that's why you want to put your content somewhere else. And these tools will work for this purpose, but Big Blue Button will work well for your voice transmission, and it will be pretty reliable in this way. So I think. What do you think, Christy, about this kind of idea to combine it with wire courses so that we kind of mitigate the problems that we are experiencing with Big Blue Button, but at the same time we have the way to share the content in a reliable way? I think this will work. Any questions about Swipe?
So just, you said it imports PDF, so can that be individual files or pages in PDF? So let's say you save your PowerPoint into PDF.
It will break it by slide.
So you can.
Yeah, it will break it that way. Yes. Do you want me to show it to you right now?
Sure.
Yeah, we can try. Yeah, we can try. Let's do it. I think we're good on time. I'm trying to be fast, but not too fast. Yeah, please slow me down if you feel like I'm going too fast. So let's create, and I will create a new deck here, and I will open my jump drive. And I will use my slides from the Russian class. Going Firefox? No, we are not. Going Safari? We are not. We were in Google Chrome, right?
It's fine.
We were in Safari right now? I think we were not, because I'm not finding. By my trash can? Okay, I see here. It's one of those. Okay, here. Okay, cool. Thank you. So let me. Let me just drag and drop and see what happens. So I dragged and dropped. And let's see how long it will take this thing. Adobe Reader blocked for this website. Sorry, we cannot test it on this computer. Okay, trust. Okay, cool. Let's see if it's going to trust. Yeah, initializing. Yeah, you see it broke it down by slides. So it's pretty seamless kind of thing, but they were designed, obviously the slides were designed and imported as PDF, so it does pretty good job with that. And then you can put videos in between slides if you want, and polls here and there. So I think it's a very simple tool. That's what I like about it. It's very clean too. It's very robust. It's very predictable. It works pretty well. So let's go to Nearpod. Any questions, additional questions about Swipe before we switch to Nearpod? Yes?
But you can't back this up in your own computer.
No, it's all cloud. It's all somewhere on some servers in the ocean, maybe Pacific, maybe Atlantic. What is it?
The file, download the file.
Not on Swipe. Swipe does not allow you to export anything. This is the feature. The primary feature of Swipe is live broadcast. So that's what you would use it for. You will design something else, and then if you want to add some interactivity, like you want to do a little bit of polling, you want to do a little bit of video here and there, you know, because oftentimes what happens with students sharing their PowerPoints, and if they embed videos, you know, and things like that, things like will not embed well, and so sometimes there will be broken links. And so what these tools allow you to do, they allow you to mitigate this problem. So everything is on the cloud, on some server somewhere, and as long as everyone has internet access, they will be able to play this presentation with no issues like that, with no broken links, you know. So, but you have to understand the limitations of the tool as well as the primary purpose of it. So this kind of idea that I want to always emphasize when I'm presenting tools like that. Are we good? Ready to move on to the next tool? So the next tool that I wanted to show you is Nearpod. And I saw that quite a few people are familiar, about half of the audience, I would say, are familiar with Nearpod. And I really like this tool. I think I was part of the pilot group that was started last summer in Casper, and so some of my faculty in Casper came and they told me that they would like to try this tool, so we purchased some licenses. But you can also explore this tool for free and then decide if you like it or not, because you can sign up for the free Nearpod account, and it will allow you to access most of the activities, or at least I think all of the activities at least once. So let me log into my school account. And this year, Outreach School decided UW Casper with piloting this tool on the main campus. So those of you who are teaching for the Outreach School and would like to try this tool in your classrooms, in your classes, distance education classes, you can talk with Christy or Jeff, and they will be able to help you with getting a license for free. So let me sign in just a second. I'm not good at multitasking. So when you sign in to Nearpod, you can do multiple things with Nearpod. So if you have your own account, your students can join your presentation for free. So in this tool, all the costs are paid by the instructor, not by the students. So which I think is nice. And this tool is not so expensive. The license, the standard price of license is $120 per year. And so if you start designing your presentations will be under my library tab. Here you can see all my presentations that I have. You can also join a presentation that someone is presenting right now, for example, by going here, and then you will be given a PIN code that you will enter here, and I will show you just in a second how it looks. Or you will be able to create a brand new presentation, or if you already had a presentation done, you can go to report, and this is answering your question about the reports, because they have really nice reports, and you can see like the presentation that I've presented, and I can go, for example, and look at this one and see how many students I had, you see, and then and I can go further and see if I had any quizzes, or like if I had polls or other activities done, I would have had scores here or answers, so this is all recorded. So this has a very nice reporting feature. Like for example, a quiz, no data. So this, because we didn't do this kind of stuff as you would do in a regular class. So let me show you how you create a presentation and what that presentation allows you in Nearpod. So I will just walk you through one of the presentations that I already have. So for example, for example, I decided to do a live session on this presentation, and then whoever wants to join me, they either can go to nearpod.com, or they can have an app installed on their mobile device. And there are apps for Nearpod for both iOS devices and Android devices. So you can go and type in that code, and then you will share it with your students if you want to use this, and then you can start presentation. And then you controlling your slides, you see you're advancing, and then you can let your students sign in, and then as your students sign into that presentation, the name will start appearing right in this lesson. You see here in the top left corner, I see the number of the students who joined me, so I can control I know how many students are in my class. Oh, Casey and Jeff are joining us. And then I can, for example, embed a video if I want to play video here, or I added this one through the link, you see, and you can watch a video about Nearpod, and I will let you watch it. Is there sound?
Experience. Launch the Nearpod app from the instructor's device and sign in using your Nearpod username and password. From the My Library page, select a presentation and tap on the Launch button to start it.
And that's what we did.
Students can now launch the Nearpod app from their devices and enter the session PIN number as displayed on the instructor's device. Each student can then sign into the session, and the student list on the instructor's device is automatically updated when they press Submit. Now you're in control of your Nearpod session, so just swipe to the next slide. Swipe to another slide, or easily navigate around your presentation using the thumbnails. Share a video.
You've probably wondered where they get names for hurricanes.
Or share a web page that students can navigate at their own pace. With Nearpod, you can easily execute assessment activities such as interactive question and answer slides, polls, quizzes, or free text activities. To learn more about Nearpod, including how to get started, creating...
Okay, too much echo going on. So we can just go to the next slide with the Nearpod. No, I need to go back to my Nearpod thing. Where did it open? A little bit lost. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's exactly I was. Thank you. So, and then I can advance further, and then I can do activities here, for example. And then with the activities, I will show you when we go and create a new presentation right now. I can just close this one and go and end my presentation here, and I will go to create new presentation. Just let's go and create a new presentation in Nearpod. And then here, pretty much, it's very simple. You just add slides. So familiar things, and once you start adding slides, then where you will be choosing what you want to add. So you can add content, and if you want to add content, you can design your own slides, or you can add a video from the web or from your social media. if you have them, or like Google Drive or Box or uh, what Dropbox, wherever you save, or from the computer, you can do that too. The same thing with audio. You can add a slideshow if you already have a design. You can add a PDF viewer or a live Twitter stream if you're using Twitter. You can also drag and drop the whole PDF of your PowerPoint. If you already designed a PowerPoint, saved it as PDF, this will be the best way to do that if you want to use it again, similar to Swipe for interactive kind of presentation. So you will drop your slides here, and then you will be adding videos, you will be adding web content, like websites that you want your students to do, or you will be adding activities. And I think activities are the best thing that Nearpod allows you to do, because remember, Swipe allowed only polls. Like here you can have open-ended questions, you can have polls, you can have quizzes. So various kind of things. You can have droid activity where you can upload, you can put like an image there and then make students draw on top of that image, or like circle certain parts of the image. So which is kind of also interactive, I think. Then you can fill in blanks, assignments, and measure pairs. But all these activities, most of them come with the paid version of Nearpod. So you will be able to experience them a couple times when you're testing it for yourself for free. But I think it's a great tool. And then the other great potential that Nearpod has, that you can, if you're, for example, traveling, but you still want to make sure that your students do this presentation, watch this presentation, go through this presentation and do the activities, you can assign it as homework, and then you will share that code, and then they can access this presentation at their convenience at the time they want. So asynchronously, they can access this presentation, and then you will still be able to see if through your reports whether they access it and what their answers were to your open-ended questions and things like that. So I have a few faculty who are doing that when they're traveling, but they cannot present in their classroom. They will just assign what is homework, and then they will give students points for doing that. So I think it's a very good feature that they came up with. And then with the Nearpod, you can export it as a PDF. And I think this is helpful for accessibility purposes, or just in case if you're planning to be in a place with unreliable internet. So, and the last thing I was going to talk is Prezi. I'm not going to be talking a lot about Prezi because my understanding is that most of you are familiar with Prezi. I just wanted to go back to my comparison table for a second and look at Prezi through the lens of what we've already discussed about other tools. So what Prezi can and cannot do compared to other tools. So as I already emphasized at the beginning, that Prezi is the only tool out of the ones that I'm covering here that has this kind of non-linear look that some people do like, others do not. This panning, zooming kind of movement, if you like those dynamics, that's great. Some people do not feel comfortable. I think people with disabilities maybe, like vertigo kind of like issues and stuff like that. I had personally experienced it when I watched Prezi. Yeah, I don't know. It does have live broadcasting capabilities, but the limitation is 30 people. And I'm talking about free version of Prezi. I'm not talking about paid version of Prezi here. And then storage is 100 megabytes. And you can see Swipe, unlimited, Haiku, Deck, unlimited. Nearpod, 10 gigabytes total for the paid account. Did I miss something? And then Prezi allows you to export your file as PDF, and importing as PowerPoint PDF image. And they also allow you to embed YouTube videos and audio files that you have saved on your computer. So those kind of things that Prezi has, and it's up to you to decide again. I guess that you will be designing Prezi inside Prezi, so this is primarily presentation tool that comes with some live broadcasting capability. So it's up to you to decide what you want to use in your classrooms. Just before you choose to try something, just think why you're deciding to use this tool. So why and what is the accessibility potential of this tool. So those are important things. But I think if you want to have a little bit more interactivity added to your presentation, and you want to make sure that every student in your classroom will be able to join it, and you will not have to deal with technology-related glitches and issues, you know, like trying to install something on the student's computer. Those are the tools to go with, I think. So because they work very well as long as your internet is reliable, and then depending on what you want to do during that presentation, or you want your students to present, you can choose from that list. Any questions?
I may be a little confused, but so with Nearpod, you can voice over, you go through.
No, nothing allows you voiceover. Just forget, nothing. Yeah, here we're not talking about voice. And I already addressed that. Voice has to be broadcast somewhere else. So you can use big blue button. So this allows you, you're pretty much advancing, like live broadcasting means that people who are following your presentation, they will just have that presentation on their device in front of them, and you will be advancing through that presentation at your own pace. And if you want them to hear your voice, then you will have to figure out how you want to share this. It can be Google Hangouts, but there is a limitation of the number of people, I think, that can join Google Hangouts. Is there? But there is a way for them just to watch Google Hangouts.
Right now, I mean, well, we're not.
Yeah, if you're live streaming, if you're live streaming, then there is no limitation in this case.
Actually participate, have audio and video information.
Yeah, or you can, the easiest way for us would be big blue button in this case, if you want your voice, because you will just make everyone log in to that conference in big blue button, and then your voice will be there, and then people will be watching the content on their other device or in a different window.
So the advantage is either if you gave it to your students and you've gone, the slides have to be self-contained.
Yes.
They don't hear your voice. Or
Yes.
you have this available and they can swipe on their phone while you're presenting.
Yes. No, they will not be able to swipe. You are the one who is swiping and controlling the way it is advanced. Unless, are you still confused?
No, I think I've got it. I just am trying to figure out why you would use this. I mean, what is really the advantage?
So for us, advantage is, like, I will tell you a number of advantages. First of all, that you do not deal with technical issues with multiple people trying to watch PowerPoint that does not have videos working, links working, things like that. So this is advantage, I think, because it works on any tool, I mean, on any device, no matter where you are. So this is advantage in my view. Then the other advantage of this tool is that you can do this broadcast where you can have some interactivity involved, like in Swipe you can do polling, you know, in Nearpod you can do more than just polling, you can have a lot of interactive features. So this kind of thing. And then it also allows you to do that homework kind of thing if you use Nearpod, that allows you to be flexible if you need to, if you cannot be in the classroom but you want the students to work through this material on their own. Or sometimes you can just do the presentation and give them access to that homework if they want to go back to the slides. You know, this is kind of good remediation strategy too that can be done. For example, our faculty are doing that if students, when they're preparing for exams, so they just let them look through the slides again. Yes, Yes, all those activities are live or homework based, yeah, and they're all saved in your reporting feature. Any other questions? Well,
Sam, I want to say something about, I tried to do research on accessibility for all these.
Mhm.
I kind of got stuck on Prezi. Prezi's kind of good at that. Prezi's real image-based,
yeah,
so you're not able to add any alternative text behind images to let people screen readers know what it actually is.
okay,
I guess you can upload a transcript,
right,
a full transcript of what they're seeing.
okay,
It's hard to edit it, but at least they have that. And they do have keyboard.
okay,
People that have a hard time using a mouse. Keyboard.
right.
I don't know how well some of these other things are for keyboard, but I guess just keep that in mind.
They do not have keyboard commands. I was not able, yeah, I saw only keyboard commands with Prezi. Yeah,
So if you don't know near which one to pick, maybe you can
maybe
as long as it does what you need.
unless you want to do just export the PDF and then just go that route. And I think,
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what kinds of PDFs.
well, yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
There's one other thing about Prezi. There is a Prezi for Education, which is free for educators, which allows, I think what it does is that your presentations aren't publicly searchable. You can give people links to them, but they're not publicly searchable. So there's it's sort of a hybrid. It's a free version. It's not entirely public.
right. Yeah, because the free version is all the Prezis are public by default. Thank you, and I think it's time for lunch.
It is time for lunch. Thanks
Yay.
so much. Well, thank you for a great presentation. Anthony is back on time.
I was trying.
We have food over here. We also would like to encourage you to talk amongst yourselves, ask us any questions you have that